letting you know.
I appreciate it, buddy.
How you going out there in the interwebs world? We got Dr. Bob today and Sid. Sid will disappear every now and then because he's volunteering in his community shop. So we get customers every now and then. So this morning I had to make up another one of these. This one was too fat and too short. So I did that yesterday. I did that this morning, just so that I could take the tendon off there. I did that. Then I had to, before I take this nub off, I had to glue in there because the crack went all the way through. So it went, like, it's quite big. So
Looks quite nice.
Yeah, I thought I'd have.
Really
Thank you.
nice.
Thought I'd have a little bit of patience with that end bit and just let that glue dry properly first on either side before I finish it off. And yeah. I deliberately tapered it down so that if I was to put something in it, like what's that green stuff that you can wet and put flower stems into?
Oh, the sponge thing.
Yeah, you could wedge that down in there or something like that, or I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry, Dr. Bob. They look at me funny if I'm talking to the computer while they're wandering around the store.
Oh, okay. You mean they just wouldn't understand you're talking to people all over the world?
The generation that's running through here a lot of the time, no.
You mean you're not going to hang a sign on the door that says live?
No, probably not appropriate. I might get told off by the store coordinator.
That's what I was about to say. You're getting the tribbles.
Well, something that the people, elderly people like me, that don't understand technology, because I know my brother is in an assisted living home for him and his wife, and she's got serious Alzheimer's. So he's there with her. And 80% of them don't know how to use computers, other than maybe a game or two. And with COVID, he was busy going around showing people how to use their little laptop or tablet so they could talk to their loved ones who are younger and know technology and take it for granted. And none of the people that age had no idea. They just didn't know how it worked, and it would be too complicated. He taught them how to use it on their phones so they could use and talk to their kids. And when the kids, and that was just through Facebook chat, and it really surprised them. Well, one of the things that some of the people have done there, but now they're all secluded, is the fact that you could go down and my brother would hook them up so they could talk to their kids and show them how to do it on a phone and then send them back to their room. And they could sit and he made the button on the screen and set a whole screen up just to hit the button and it calls automatically their kids for video yet. And if you're in a facility that are mostly elderly people, that might be a service that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
As long as they want to learn.
Yeah, they've done that with my mother-in-law and some of the care facilities over here. If they've got the elderly who aren't actually technologically advanced at all, they're giving them iPads with limited functionality. Like, they've got a lot of the stuff locked out, so you can't get lost in the iPad. All it does is it goes in and does a chat and video live stream. So they've only got that button to hit. They can't hit anything else.
Oh, that's a great idea. They don't do that
Get them
around.
started. Because a lot of them are frightened of doing something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
They're scared of the tablet. So they say, okay, well, all you do is you turn it on, give the screen a stripe, this will come up, you push that, and you can talk.
Is that done by the government or the community?
How you going, Sarge?
Howdy, y'all.
Yeah, Sid's working today, so we caught him in the shop.
Yeah, he's volunteering, so every now and then he'll just go on mute because he'll get a customer. It kind of looks a bit weird when he's talking to a screen to the customers. So.
Might think he's crazy.
Yeah. Country folk, eh?
Of course.
So what's going on?
Working on a birdhouse.
On a what? Sorry?
A birdhouse.
Okay.
A crazy birdhouse.
Oh, it's cute.
It's supposed to be a flying cow.
Oh, yeah.
Flying,
Nice.
flying bull or something.
You got a client in mind, or just?
It's one of my
caught your
wife's ideas. Yeah, she had gotten those Winfield scrolling catalogs off of something I ordered, I think, and she found all these birdhouses in there, and so she's got a bunch of plans for them.
G'day, Sarge. How you going?
Hey, I'm good, Sid.
I keep randomly going on mute when people walk in through the door because if I'm talking at the computer, as Dr. Bob says, they think I'm crazy. I'm not going to argue whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, does any of us argue that we're not crazy?
Well, I don't want to be considered normal, so.
Right.
That's the favorite line from Young Frankenstein, or it should be Frankenstein, is that when they go out and they look for a brain, and he says, well, they're Abby Normal. The person's name was Abby Normal. Mel Brooks did such a good on that movie. That's one I have on my tablet that I can sit while I'm in the shop sometime and just put it on, because it's one of those movies I can just follow along. I know it so well.
You're right on the limit there, Jay, are you?
Yeah, not far off. Unfortunately, I don't think this piece is going to work very well. It's bloody particle board.
Oh. You're going to get more sawdust.
I'm going to give it a go.
Here's a trick for you. Make it round.
Yeah.
Have you got a faceplate that you don't use very often, or?
Yeah.
Because you can make yourself a sanding disc to sit on your lathe.
Oh, yeah.
Screw a faceplate on your particle board.
Yep. I know what you're on about, but no, I do use the faceplate for other stuff, but yeah, I know what you're on about.
Yep.
I'm just going to turn it, bugger it. If it explodes, it explodes. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
No sense of adventure.
Yeah.
Maybe you might find the degrees and it might tell you forward.
This is almost like an artesia, artesia cuts, because you got your design, and then you cut out all the pieces and you match it all back up, do sanding and whatnot.
I'm sure it was.
And that's kind of how this birdhouse is. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, I was looking at someone doing some stuff with the scroll saw the other day, and something I hadn't really thought about. Just do something real simple, just doing lettering to make signs.
Yeah. This ain't a letter, but I did this not too long ago for my sign.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what I got on it so far.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Now, do
yeah,
you
I like that.
use stack cut?
I do at times. This one here is 3/4 thick though. So
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be able to get but maybe an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 inch piece on there. Maybe a little bit bigger, but not much. Well, I guess 2 3/4, that's 1.5 inches, so I could get it if I needed it. And even though this got broken, this is something I did not too long ago for my oldest daughter. Oh, you
Is it
can
a
see it.
plate holder?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
see if I can get this apart without breaking it more. Probably glued. Anyways, it's got a slot in there on both pieces, and they just stick on each other.
Okay.
So I mean,
That's cool.
some of the stuff that you guys do, I can do on a scroll saw. It's just in a different setting. Like I can do a vase, but I would have to do it stacked rings.
Yep.
You know, I'd have to cut each ring out and then glue them all together.
That'd finish up like a segmented vase for us, only it'd be, instead of being stuck together then turned, it's shaped and then stuck together.
Right. Exactly.
Which is probably more challenging in the sticking together to make.
And I don't know if you've seen the heart basket. Yeah. And then sanding on all those sides so you don't see all the segments. Oh. My wife and I have been out in this shop all day, and it's a disaster.
Normally, when that happens, you blame the kids.
Well, I got no kids, and I don't let the wife into my shop, and it's a disaster, so I don't know who to blame.
Yeah,
blame the dog.
Oh, yeah, or some puka.
Puka.
Yeah.
Some abo got my
shop. Not what we say
shop.
over here, but you know, it's a Chinese bloke anyway.
Yeah.
What's up, Joe?
Well,
Justin's in the comments.
Hey, Justin, how you going?
yeah, hi.
How you going, Justin?
You gonna toss him a link, or do you want me to?
No, he got one when everyone else did. He might be at work.
Okay, all right, good to go. Can you see this one, Sid? I don't know if you've seen it the other night or not.
Yeah, that was fantastic pieces.
Yeah, that looks wicked. I like that.
And then
you sent me a couple of pictures of it in Facebook chat.
Oh yeah. And then the lid. All I did was cut another bottom. I took the piece out of the center up here and glued them together. And then I used a heart pattern off of my mother's silhouette. Cut a bevel to where it's got a little bit of texture, or a little bit of edge to it, and glued it all together.
Uh-huh. How many man hours are in that? Can you guess?
And then I took all the really wasn't that much on that one, believe it or not, because I already had the pattern. I mean, all I had to do is print it off the computer, stick it to the material that I was using, and start cutting it. You start on the
sides
inside.
of that box are the sides are individual pieces, or how did you get it that way?
No, what you do is each of the three patterns here or layers
Yeah.
is a
Right.
different pattern. And so I cut the inside edges, and they're all kind of weaved, rounded out. So you just go in and out, in and out all the way around. Then cut the outside, and that gets the pieces on the outside. So these are just three pieces of 3/4 red cedar. And so it's just, it's kind of an illusion. It's I don't
It
know
makes
what
it
you
look
call
like a whole heap of little cylinders stuck together to make each layer.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a lot of hours in sticking each layer together.
Yeah, lining up all the little pieces like
Yeah.
Which is
because
quite
a
clever.
wood turner would do that
Right.
and glue them together.
Some wood turners would, Dr. Bob. This one wouldn't.
Let's see. Who is it? Molly. Hello, Molly.
How you going, Molly?
Hey, Marley.
Yeah, I've seen him in 2 or 3 different programs today in comments watching.
Huh? Okay, should I put these in the dishwasher or the sink? What? By the crock pot? Okay. I brought all the cups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the noise.
Okay.
Hey,
Had
you
a
got the
bunch of
circus
gates.
in tonight. So Dr. Bob's got the circus tonight.
Only brought 3.
Yeah, the circus last night, so.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had him then too.
Yes. You got a
That's
big one.
life.
Next weekend, hopefully. Yes, you will see me next weekend. We have a hangout next weekend. No, I'm not fucking. I'll give you a handshake.
Oh,
Kiss
teenagers.
me.
Oh, yeah.
Good night.
Bye.
And they don't seem to get better with
Well, I wonder if they
Generation.
thought the same if they realised they were being broadcast live onto the internet.
Yeah.
And they probably would.
I don't believe it. It's quiet.
wow.
I bet if I drop a dime, I could hear it. What was funny is that one of them, they just for the heck of it, there's a bedroom behind me. It's where one of the teenagers live, and the one that I help raise, he's way upstairs in the other end of the house. And the third teenager is in Chicago now. But they got into an argument with the word that you can't say, Alexa. Oh, she heard me. And it was fun because he has one in his room. I gave it to him for Christmas along with lights.
So the word you can't say, Dr. Bob, is that carbide? The C word, carbide.
Well, I have carbide from my deep hollowing tools, all of them.
I know, keep talking about the C word we're not allowed to say, so it's carbide.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Because Robbo's not here, so it doesn't matter so much, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Well, we've been talking about what's been going on. How's our mini maker? What have you been making? Now, Jay is turning sawdust.
Yeah, you won't get any
And
ribbons
glue.
off that one.
Nope. Sawdust and compressed with glue.
Yep. They don't make a very good workbench, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in a damp area. My dad, bless his
Or
heart, he made me this really nice uh, workbench, as a kid. And the first time I missed a board and I was near the edge, pop goes the edge, pop goes the corner,
uh,
and left a big old dent in the top of the bench too. So, yep.
well, I have had that type of top on several benches over the years, and because especially when it first came out, that
Mm-hmm.
was the in thing to have. Except I found it didn't hold screws very well because you could start and do some work on it, and they would pull out because the adhesives or whatever they used to glue the sawdust together wasn't that good. And heaven forbid you spill a cup of coffee on it because it starts melting.
Mm-hmm.
Though I have learned if you've got the sawdust boards, then you got to cover them with paint, any old house paint, junk paint, to help
Mm.
seal them. Now, Sid recommended that Jay, if he had a spare adapter, faceplate adapter, he could make a sanding disc out of it, but he doesn't have spares. They can't be that expensive, but that's not probably something you'd buy at your local store where he's at.
Probably not. Probably www.expensive.com.
Well, I've seen them, oddly enough, on several of the big China direct stores.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all metric, so they're not met, here. And they weren't too bad. The shipping costs more than they did.
This is going to be the backside, and look at
I'm
what I
back.
just seen.
Wow.
What does that look like?
Looks like a cow looking at me.
Me too.
Oh,
No. I put it in my pocket when I went to go move my car.
So what's the temperature
Water.
outside now?
Ah, okay.
Sorry, Dr. Bob, what was that?
What temperature was for you?
Quite mild, actually, to be honest. For you, it is 75.
Oh, that's really comfortable.
Yeah.
Without humidity, that's perfect weather for painting the house or the shed.
Yeah, it could be. I got a brick house, so I'm not painting that. All right, see the colours over there?
Oh, yeah.
All right, they're my Sharpies. I thought there's no better place to put them than they're hooked onto the thing there.
oh, cool.
That is an interesting. Would never have thought of that. Maybe
Pick a
that's
colour.
because I don't stand on my head as much as you guys have to.
Hey,
But
you've been
it's
hanging around
centrifugal
Jamison too
force.
much.
It keeps you sucked into the earth.
Oi, Pick a colour. Go on.
Chartreuse
What?
or puce.
What's that?
Colors people joke about.
Okay.
They're real, but I've never seen markers in those.
Which one? Anyone?
How about something? What are you going to use it on?
That piece of wood.
Mini Maker says he likes pink.
Pink. All right. Done deal, Mini Maker. Then go on, right, Mini Maker. Marley, how about yourself? What games you playing? Pink, eh? All right. So now I'm going to be a little bit more specific with that because I've got 3 different shades of pink. I got that one. This one is actually a neon, so it's a little bit brighter. And then you got this one here. Oh yeah, no better time to do it, Marley. Definitely.
Oh yeah. What language?
Start off with C and then C plus and C double plus.
You want hot pink.
Hot pink. All right. I couldn't wrap my head around C double plus.
C plus
Hey,
plus.
yeah.
I remember when it came out.
How you going, Louie? Yeah.
At one time, I could program in 7 different languages proficiently.
Yeah.
And one of them,
Howdy, Louie.
nobody uses anymore. Well, a couple
What's that?
of them, but
Hieroglyphics? I can't even say it.
the thing is, we know what you're talking about.
You're a cheeky bugger today, aren't you? Funny.
Ed, you're next.
Well, I learned to program
I picked up
in
Robo
machine
last
code. That's when I was coding. Machine code's the only way you could go. When Billy and his sidekick came up with BASIC, that was really something that the average person now could sit back and learn. But I remember before BASIC, I was programming my first computer with toggle switches to punch paper tape. And then you fed the program through from the punch tape.
I made a golf game on BASIC in year 8. I couldn't do it now.
Yeah.
That was on one of the first Apple units that come out with the big floppy disk, and they had a Commodore 64, I reckon, that ran on a cassette tape.
Yep.
Yep.
I used to program for the Commodore. That was one of the machine codes that I could actually program in them at machine code level, because, yeah, it had higher level languages, but the problem was it didn't have enough memory. So you had to keep spooling individual machine code commands in instead of some of the higher level ones to get it to run faster. Like games, you have to be at machine code level to make a game work on those old machines. Marty's using a CRT. I didn't think anyone knew what they were anymore. Everything is flat panel.
Evening all.
Paul.
Howdy, Paul.
Or afternoon, whichever. How's it going?
Yeah. Howdy. Paul, Mini Maker,
Oh, how are you?
Marley, who's in the chat, is learning to program in C++ and Java.
All right.
And we were just talking about the first languages that we learned, and I can't believe, because he's preteen, that they're doing that. At one time, I dreamed it would happen to be doing machine code at
Hey,
that
Chris.
age. But
How you going, Chris?
Howdy, kid. Chris.
Paul, you'll see me go muted every now and then. I'm not being rude. I'm actually volunteering in our community store today, so the customers think I'm crazy, but I'm sitting here talking to a computer screen.
Yeah, I think we're all a bit crazy anyway, so yeah, don't worry about that.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that's what they think.
Yeah, no worries.
At least they got it figured out finally.
Well, some of them are quick. Some of them I've never seen before, and they pick it straight away, Sarge. My care factor's not very high, though.
Give a darn's busted.
Oh, my wife gave me a T-shirt for Christmas, my new favourite T-shirt. It says, "People say I act like I don't care." And then the small print underneath it says, "I'm not acting."
You done got the part.
yeah,
Natural
Robo's,
talent.
Robo's going to be joining us later. He's busy cutting down a tree as if he didn't have enough wood.
Yeah.
He's doing it for his son, but he keeps the wood.
Yeah, I've got a new neighbour across the street. He's there's a tree surgeon.
Oh,
So, I
you
think
got
he
a
might be
blessing.
a good neighbour.
That's a
He's already dropped
blessing.
off some walnut at the end of my drive for me. So yes.
I've got a couple of people that work for our city that are
Yeah.
they're arborists, so they do it for the city, and I've got them trained. They know behind the garage where to put it and to stack it.
Yeah.
And so I can coat it with anchor seal.
Yeah.
You know what that is, but the seal
Yeah,
of
I
wood.
do.
So this summer I left the bucket of the plastic bottle, milk bottle full of it out there in a can,
Yeah.
and my brush, because I was too lazy to put it away because there was a barbecue going.
Yeah.
And be darned if a few weeks later I go back to see what's there, and here's about 8 more good-sized pieces of wood cut for bowl blanks, and he sealed them.
That's good. All you got to do now is teach him how to turn it as well, and then your job's done.
Yeah. Well, Jay's didn't have any real wood, so he's turning sawdust.
Oh,
Oh, don't be like that. I thought it was a real piece of wood until I turned it down, and I was like, oh, bugger it. I'll still do it anyway.
yeah.
Here, look, here's a real piece of wood. There you go.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, Joe. That's the story there, isn't it?
Well, if you rounded it, then... Well, you could still do a sanding block, a sanding disc, Jay. What you do, it just dawned on me, no, use a bigger piece of wood, but cut a piece of wood that turn it, that just fits in the jaws tightly. And then glue and screw your disc to it, and then put the sandpaper on the disc. And then as a sanding disc, you just use your chucks in the jaw to anchor it all together.
Yep.
Yeah,
That way
use your
you're not
waste plate into the
a
chuck.
face
Yeah.
plate.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically make a
I was
10-inch.
just looking to get a couple of them shipped from China that would fit your lathe, and shipping was like $45, but the face plates were $3 a piece.
If you buy a record chuck now, most of the SC3 and S34s in record power, they give you a faceplate ring with them.
Right.
That's the latest fad I've seen. I've got a friend of mine that, within a 10-minute walk of here, runs a big machine shop, all CNC. Though he does have the big metal lathes. They've been around, and it's like nobody has them anymore. So when people have a factory and something big is broken, a drive shaft or something, a line shaft, they come to him because the next closest one is like 250 miles away. So I'm tempted to have him make me some rings just to see to fit the chucks I have.
Yeah, I've got a few for my chucks in a couple of different sizes, and I to be honest, I don't use them often, but I've got a couple of jigs I've made up, and I've just put a faceplate ring on the back of the wooden plate that I've made. So they have the uses occasionally. I think that's probably a cheaper way of doing it than putting a faceplate on the back of it.
Yeah, and the rings, if you're a machinist on a CNC machine, he was telling me that he could do them in about 4 minutes a piece.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, on your hourly rate, how much are they a piece? He's never charged me because I always bring him nice gifts. This is one I was talking about earlier today. Let me get. Nothing fancy, but it was for a person who son passed away and they wanted something special, and it was from their tree. So, and I like leaving the character in it.
Yeah, I've just done a commission for somebody. They wanted a salad bowl from some wood that they've got from their garden. But he contacted me at the beginning of December. He said, "I've got these bits of wood. It was chestnut. Can you make me a bowl in time for a Christmas present?"
Yeah.
Is the wood dry? He said no. So I checked it when I got it. It's 50% moisture content. So I said, "You're not going to get this for Christmas." But he said, any chance it could be done by mid-February? It's his wife's birthday coming up. So I said, I'll see what I can do. So I roughed them out, left them in my workshop for a while, and I kept them, I think, about a month ago. And they'd come down from 50 to about 25. So I got one of the left out bowls, and I brought it into the house and left it in the room that we don't use and isn't heated at the moment. So I thought I'll put it in there, and that's a little bit warmer and drier than the workshop. So that's brought it down more actually. The moisture was down to about 15%. So I thought, right, I'll turn it. It's not quite where it wants to be, but it's not far off. It might move a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's a salad bowl, so it doesn't matter if it moves just a little bit.
Yeah, this was the first one that I did microwave on.
Yeah, I've got one of those in the workshop, but I don't like using it unless I really have to.
Well, it's in just off the kitchen here, and it's interesting because I needed baked potatoes. I thought I'd make for myself one night for dinner. So I put paper towels in here and a couple of baked potatoes, and I've learned a long time ago, microwaving baked potatoes, they love to blow up in the oven.
Yeah.
So you got to still poke them full of holes.
Yeah.
So I put in paper towels. No, it was a cloth towel, hand towel, and a couple of potatoes. And as soon as about 4 minutes is what it went for, and I'd take the towels out with the potatoes, and this was nice and warm all the way through because of the mass of the potato. And it worked. The towel got damp, and I'm not sure which it was from. So I did the same thing the next night and the next night. And the next thing I knew, this was down to where I could turn it. So I used it for cooking baked potatoes.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up on the chat real quick. Chris says my son is electrical engineering in college, learning C+ and Java. Good on you, Minnie, for learning coding. Minnie says it's best for a server and API and stuff like that, and dumb stuff. It can do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Jay,
on Java,
are you turning chipboard?
all sorts of things, isn't it? A lot of embedded software on all sorts of devices is written in Java, and these days most of the mobile apps are Java based. So if you get into mobile development, a lot of that is Java based.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, good ones to learn.
Yeah, I think Jay's using particle board or press board. The last I heard. And then Chris
No,
is
this is
thinking
real
of turning.
wood. He put on real wood while he was
Oh,
coming
yeah.
away to me.
This is could have been before. That Molly had posted that comment asking what Jay was, if he was turning chipboard. And Chris says, I was thinking of turning MDF for a sanding disc. My disc is plywood and changes shape now and then. And Sid says, sometimes the warp looks good. And there he is.
Yeah.
Depends on what the warp is in and what it's for.
Yeah, I used to do Java about 20 years ago. I haven't used it since.
Yeah, that's like me.
For a couple of years, I was working with sort of a couple of development projects that were Java based, and I used it back then. But I've used other languages since then, and never got Java again. It's just the way the work went, really, what I was doing.
Yeah, as a kid, I programmed on a Nova computer, and they were all toggle switches, and you did punch tape, and you put punch tape through to load it. But that's only because it was my uncle's computer where he worked. At that time, it was American Motors, and they got my first job and I have to say it was in the computer, and it was on weekends, and I was 15 years old, and it was changing tubes. They would test on Saturdays. I'd go in, and they'd fire the thing up, and I'd be in the room, and it was a room underneath the main lobby of the building it was in, and the air circulation system to heat the first floor in the lobby blew up through the computer, and that was the warm air off of it that warmed the lobby. It was a pretty good idea, but it got hot, and I had I think it was three.
That blank appears to have moved on the lathe. It's off center now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's moving, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think the centers have moved.
Jay, check your center.
Well, I just want to crank up the tailstock a bit tighter to make sure it doesn't move anymore.
Yeah, he's been doing
Hey, Jay.
that.
What?
Dr. Bob and Paul's got something for you.
Yeah, it looks like your center's moved a bit, Jay. So it might be worth just checking your tailstock's tight enough. Because if you look at that disc where you've cut it, it's off center now. So it looks like the piece of wood's moved slightly. So just check your center. Your tailstock's tight enough on it.
Okay. Smash me just out of
changing tubes in that computer was I got paid by the tube.
Certainly do.
I
There'll
had
be a small field
a
charge on it.
newspaper bag. I carried the tubes in with a cardboard divider, good and bad tubes.
You got your copy?
It was really an interesting job, but it was hot walking down the aisle
Thank you.
between there was tubes on both sides.
Strange, there's no other hole, or it doesn't look like it's stretched or anything, so it's just might be my shit tool work.
What's it anchored? It's on in your chuck, or is the center off on the other side? At the headstock is it slipping?
The tailstock might have been stretched out too far. So when I was tightening it every now and then, it wasn't going any further. So I just readjusted.
You're on full extent on the screw, weren't you? It was all the way out.
Yeah, so I readjusted that and pushed it back in. So see how it goes.
Interesting how the frame rate of the camera detects that better than the eye does.
Probably true, yeah. It's almost like using a strobe, isn't it?
Yes. You ever program in Ada?
Yeah, I did actually. Again, I did that for a couple of years. It was on like a multi sort of like, well, I suppose you'd call it an embedded system. There was a number of different. Well, we had a whole load of Solaris servers and a whole load of these boxes that were running Ada as well. So it was a mixture of C and Ada. C was running on the Solaris boxes, and the Ada was running on these sort of card frame units, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a complex system, but interesting to work with.
I was lucky enough, and long time ago, I was like 13, 14, and I got to be able to, as part of a science club, visit a auto company, and I forget which one it was, but it was an old computer that they had that they actually used on the assembly line. And it was so intriguing, it was all plug board.
Yeah.
Where you had different cables and NOR gates and so on, and you'd plug them in. And but that's what they used for their automation. So when a vehicle came down that knew to stop because of micro switches on the assembly line track, and it would stop it, and it knew it had to have another piece come in. You know, if it stopped, then it had this overhead line come in and stop with your piece hanging there. You unhooked, and it was interesting to see that that's how they programmed. But of course, they had, oh heavens, hundreds of these plug boards, and they just program what they thought that they knew, and they'd plug it in. And the whole reason, and they've been using them for some 20 years, is because to them, at the time, it was Chrysler Motor Car Company. And it was that was how they automated their assembly line.
Yeah.
And that was before anybody else had anything like that. But it was all plug board per section. And there might be 3 plug boards that went in there to do something, and it would travel, and then you'd link them together with jumpers, but if and OR gates, and, you know, do this, do that. And at the same time, if you have to stop the line to wait, it would do that because it sensed it. They hadn't proven it. It was all logic gates, but they were programmable. And they said they did that because it was easier than rewiring the line for next year model. And they could go from a standard car to a station wagon in 2 days on that line. So they didn't have to have separate lines. And that when they got down to it, once it was programmed, they'd go down with their cart, unplug the boards, plug the new ones in, make sure that the shift had the right parts in queue. And it was Hudson Motor Car was the company that started it and did that, but that was interesting. And it was ladder logic, if you remember ladder logic.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they use on all the PLCs, isn't it, these days? It's all based on that.
Yep, but so that was the original ladder logic boards.
Yeah, that was probably the predecessors of the PLC then.
Yes. Hudson Motor Car, and Jesse Hunt was the person that got the credit, and that was my grandmother's brother. He's the one that got me bit in electricity.
Yeah.
And yes, that's a logic gate computer, but it goes back long time ago.
Yeah. I remember once I went on a course to program PLCs with one of the PLC companies. I forget which one it was now, but we spent a week doing this course, and we did lots of little modules, and each module was like learning another function. And then you wrote a little bit of a test program, proved that worked, and then on to the next module. But as we went through the week doing all these modules, instead of doing them as separate modules, I added them into the previous one. So I just built up a whole function of a whole sort of library of all the functions. And I had ended up at the end of the week, one program that I could just flick switches and trigger sensors and all that sort of thing. And each one of these little modules I wrote all did something. And the guy that was running the course was so impressed. He said, "Can I have that piece of software? We'll use that as one of our demo pieces."
Eva.
So I gave him the software.
Yeah.
Because it literally went through all the functions these PLCs would do, all in one program. Because I put all these functions into the program. So yeah, I think he was impressed with that.
Yeah, I had
Hello, Cat.
How you going, Eva?
Eva, join us.
There's an offer you can't refuse, Eva.
She's got a link, Dr. Bob.
Good.
I'm not
We've got it sorted out, however. Jay's just going to mute you if you're talking too much.
My favorite chip years ago to program for in machine code was Z80 from Zilog.
Yeah.
That was the Radio Shack Model 1. We worked on that because it had a single command that, to me, I called it multitasking because it changed memory pointers, it changed everything that you wanted, and it would flip back and forth. And to, in essence, two separate programs that were in the computer simultaneously.
Yeah.
But no one ever used it that way.
No.
Howdy,
At
Monkey.
least not for personal
Old
ones.
Seed.
Hey, Eva, how are you?
Monkey. Bob, Jay, Bailey, Minnie. I see you waving there. You had said hi. Sorry to interrupt you now.
No,
You're not really.
I need to hear from you. What's the weather like in
Cold ice is laying down, so we got ice on the lake now, at least on the freshwater side. The brackish water haven't really frozen yet, I think. But they want to keep it open here, so they go around and break it because of the construction site. It sounds like thunder when they do that. But they have the cutest little tugboats down there, but they are so small. Like if you 5 people on the boat, it's full. And then it's a low, near surface going boat. So I think it's at least as much under also. So they push the big proms, do you call them that? Where you put your excavators and stuff on. If you're going to dig down in the bottom of the lake. And they have this.
They're dredges. They're like dredges on barge. They're excavators on barges. Then they put the piles down as anchors.
Yeah. They have in the 4 corners. They have big round pillars, whatever I should call them. Then they lower them down into the bottom too, so it's secured.
Yeah.
And they dived as like 2 weeks ago. They were still diving there. So
I thought you said they died.
Well, they wouldn't surprise me if someone died on this building. But I said dive.
I know.
With a V. Sorry. Scuba diving, but not really. That's how I learned how a diver's flag looked like, blue and white.
Oh, yours is blue and white. Ours is red with white stripe.
Ours are blue and white in a angle cut. I just finished cleaning the drains. It smells so bad. But it's all my hair, so.
That's a job I don't like.
No, that's probably cat hair.
No, but we got a rule here. It's my hair that fills the shower sink. It's his beard that fills the hand washing sink. So.
So I guess I don't have any rules here because my sinks are always full. But I've got cat hair, I've got girl hair, I got beard hair, back hair, whatever.
Cats.
No.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about the rest of the hairs you have.
My barber asked me today, she goes, man, where's that hair on the back of your neck go? I was like, all the way to my toes.
But you clean all of them nicely then and say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, aren't you a sweetheart?
I always get stuck cleaning out the showers.
Is that where you get the silent treatment?
What was that?
Either you clean it or you get the silent treatment?
Pretty much. No, I get to, if I don't clean them out regularly, I get to take the snake to them, and that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Well, this was really, really not done for probably 6 months or more. Since last time it was full, so you noticed that your feet were all of a sudden in a bath.
You were taking a shower bath?
Well, we don't have a cabin or something. We just have like doors. So it goes all the way to the toilet on the floor when it gets filled.
Oh.
But it's a very small bathroom, so.
Yeah, you got a wet bathroom.
Well, not anymore. I fixed it.
That's what they call it, Eva.
Bathrooms usually are wet.
Wet area.
Not the floor, not the whole bathroom, unless you got a wet bathroom.
Imagine you live in England and you have carpets in the bathroom all over, and you don't. Yeah, how can you have that and not have mold? I just wonder.
Oh, you do. I moved into this place. We were renting it, and they had carpet. It's a mobile home. They had carpet in the bathroom. I ripped up
But-
every piece of carpet in this house, but a couple closets. And it
But
was
you don't
nasty.
have a carpet in bathroom.
I know,
How you clean the
but they
bathroom
did
floor
put
if you have it?
She's-
I mean, I used the shower. I connected another hose to the shower hose, and then I make it longer so it reach all the way to the toilet, and then you spray down the toilet, and then you can just rinse it off. It's perfect.
Cool.
It's like having traveling on a train in a suite. The bathroom, the shower in them, it's something else, at least in Amtrak here, because you got to stand up, or you can sit on the toilet with the toilet seat down and the shower is still right there over your head.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can sit down and shower.
Not really that small, but on the other hand, in America, you have so many bathrooms. I mean,
No,
you
we have
you
two
don't
in
have
my
one or
house.
two per family. You have to have an ensuite bathroom all the time.
Well, when
That
I went
seems
to
be
the
the
Philippines, we stayed in the old base housing, old Air Force base housing, and there was in the house I was in, it had 2 bedrooms, the dining room, living room, and the kitchen, and then off the kitchen was a small little room, and in that little room was a wet bathroom right next to it, connected to it, and that was the maid's quarters. The only problem with it, because that was my room, the only problem with it is no hot water
Oh, we have hot
in that
water
bathroom.
right now. Plenty of it. We burn the
I'm just
garbage
saying
here
that they,
to heat everything, to heat the radiators, the hot
yeah, you
water
told me
and
that
everything.
earlier.
Yeah, that's what we do here. That's why I don't have any problem with plastic bags here, because you push them in the trash and they get burned anyway. So every household trash gets burned. They rebuilt the plant that takes care of that to burn trash in all the major cities. We even import trash from Norway because we burn too much. We don't have enough.
It's actually interesting too, because those high temperature incinerators have very low emissions.
Were you fiddling with the microphone there? Because you were kind of...
Better than landfills and...
We're not self-sufficient for energy. No. But for that bit, we have for the hot water and heating the houses when you're connected to the city line, so to speak. Then you have to pay, of course, to be connected. But and it goes for single households too, not just like normal residence house with many apartments. It goes to normal villas stuff. Whole neighborhoods can hook up to it. And the same goes with the toilet water and so on. But yeah. But we do have, we don't have coal power plants. We have a lot of water and wind now. And of course we have nuclear power plants too.
Now, isn't it true that you guys got kind of a water wave
Water wave what?
power system out there also?
Water.
I forget what it's called. Water waves, like the ocean side.
No, that's not properly invented yet.
Oh, okay, all right. Maybe it was just a theory that they were going to do it out there.
Yeah, but
We've got a wave generator here in South Australia.
Yeah, there is some things, flat stuff they're gonna put down on the bottom that's gonna move with the waves, and that's gonna somewhat make electricity. It's really, really good for countries like Australia and all of the islands around there.
Yeah, only if they get to where they're supposed to be going, because the one we've got sank halfway through its trip, so now it's sitting off the coast like a reef.
So it's
we've got
become.
one, but it's sitting on the bottom of the ocean in the wrong spot, not hooked up to anything, and the fish are living in it.
Sid, darling, what have you done with your microphone?
I'm on an earpiece one, Eva, because I'm in the community.
So when the microphone is that sitting in your beard because you make a lot of noise when you talk. It's
I
when
make a lot of noise anyway.
Oh, you have one of those.
Yeah, he's working. He's managing the store.
I'd hardly call it working, but yeah, I'm here. I've got to go on a mute every now and then when someone comes in.
It sounds like something from Cooper's Crossing.
And the battery could be going flat too, because I've been sitting in here for a while with it on.
Yeah, because every time you move your jaws, it kind of make noises.
No, that's Jay sanding.
Is it a bird nest you're making, Monkey?
Yeah, bird house, bird nest, whatever.
Yeah, bird for food or for living? Monkey
Living.
butt? Living, thank you. And
For
Paul,
living?
please talk.
Yeah.
Don't let me run like this. Please talk.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Paul's got a question in the chat. A young
what's
programmer.
Well, you can run Visual Studio Code in the development environment, can't you? Or you compile it and run it on whatever machine you want. So if you're trying to debug it, you run it in the development environment. But if it's ready to go, then you can just compile it and install it where you want.
Yeah, you get your uncle to pay for it.
You can get Visual Studio free.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, I think as long as it's for sort of, well, personal use and small business use, it's free.
Okay.
It's only if for large corporate use, I think you have to license it these days, or pay for a license for it. Well, that was the situation last time I looked. Anyway, it might have changed.
Bailey, are you in America or England? You're American, aren't you?
Who?
Bailey.
Chris.
I call him Bailey all the time. He has another name, but Is it Louis? Chris. Hi, Chris. Wonder if it's finally gonna sit in my brain.
For a second.
Well, I remember it now.
It's easy for me because my name is actually Chris.
Why are we calling you Sid then?
My dad started calling me Sid when I was 5 and it stuck. But Chris is the name on my birth certificate.
I see. Yeah, I know you said that before, that you're okay with me calling you Bailey all the time, but it's like everybody else knows the name, so why shouldn't I? And it's kind of nice to be greeted with a name. And it's actually so funny because there's people turning up in chats everywhere. They know my name, but I don't know theirs, and I have no clue who they are.
Yeah, everyone's got a moniker.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but okay.
I just
all right, everybody, I'm going to take my leave and head off. Been quite enjoyable chatting, so goodbye to all.
Oh, have a nice day then, Sid.
Thanks for coming in.
No worries, mate. I'm heading off for a night away with my wife tonight after I leave here. So.
Ooh la la!
Outstanding.
You never know.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
I don't even need to speak your language to know what you just said.
I have no idea what well, I do think I know what I said, but I can't speak French, but it sounded very French, didn't it?
It did a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
everyone. Take care. See you later.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Have a good day.
Waving. Well, I'm not going to get any dental in soon, so you're not going to get pictures so often. But it's starting to get... I haven't had one painkiller today whatsoever.
That's good.
Yeah, my body thanks me later.
Well, how's your day been, Paul?
Pretty good. Just doing a few odd jobs here and there, rather than anything specific. But yeah, I did get to turn that bowl I was talking about, the chestnut one. It's going to be a silent bowl.
Uh-huh.
I'll put the first coat of oil on it, so it's absorbing oil at the moment.
But that's nice. Weren't you doing something other than turning also?
Yes, I'm a software engineer, so it's my day job.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that a couple of weeks ago or something?
Might have done a few sessions back, yeah.
Yeah, but they're starting early. I mean,
Yeah.
When
I've been
you
training
have
for
kids.
just over 20 years, 22 years roughly, I think. But
Yeah.
it's always been a part-time thing for me. It started off as a hobby, and then it got a bit more serious than a hobby, I would say. And I consider it a sort of a part-time profession these days. I've never done it full-time, but who knows? One of these days I might do that. I don't think right now is a good time, but maybe sometime.
Yeah, it's nice to see young people program.
Yeah.
The preteens too. That's what mini makers are, preteen, and they're starting early. I know I've got a neighbor kid that pre-COVID he would come bug me with code problems.
Yeah.
And it has been a long time for me that I've done anything. And the thing that I have to get through to him was organization. He was getting lost in his code because he didn't document.
Yeah, that's always a pitfall, isn't it? Especially as what you're writing gets bigger and bigger, and you forget the bits that you started with, and
Yep.
It becomes unmanageable, doesn't it? Been there, done that, or at least I've had to work on programs that weren't well documented. I remember one of our clients. We had several systems that we supported for one client, and we got this phone call from one of their managers and said, "We've got this problem with the server. There's nothing to do with anything we supported." They said, "We've got this application running on this server." Gave me a sort of a 30-second brief of what it did, and they say it's not working. We've got no support on it, and we've got no documentation. Is there anything you can do?
Yeah.
So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll have a look, and I fixed it.
That's when billing by the hour pays.
Yeah, but I mean, it was throwing out an error message, so I just put the error message into Google like you do, and it came up with some suggestions, and I just followed those, and it led me to the problem, and I sorted it out. So they were quite impressed, but I didn't tell them it was all down to Google.
Yeah.
I just gave them the bill and smiled and said, "Yeah, it's all working now."
And you didn't do any documentation for them. That way they come back to you.
I think my company sort of based on that was angling to take over support for them and add it to the portfolio that we were managing, but I'm not sure that ever happened. I think they were reluctant to spend money on it, to be honest. But we did pick up some work from it. We sort of there was periodic maintenance tasks you had to do on it, like resetting passwords and things like that, and I think we picked up some of that real basics there. Some of the people in our team were just doing real basic support on it, but no, they never went as far as proper support and getting it all documented or anything like that. So if it ever went pear-shaped big time, it would have been a problem.
Yeah.
But fortunately, that didn't happen while I was working there anyway.
What type of software do you do for industrial or accounting or management?
All sorts. Yeah, I mean, I've done all sorts over the years. Some of it was sort of business systems. Probably the latter sort of few years, I suppose. Most of the last 17, 18 years, 17 years, I suppose, apart from the last year, has been industrial, commercial stuff, business software, business applications. So mostly bespoke business systems for large corporations. But prior to that and since then, I've worked on other software for other purposes that I'm not going to discuss in public.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just started doing it as a kid because I had an uncle that was a ham radio operator, my idol. And technically, he was a great uncle, but at the time I didn't realize it. But he worked World War I as in code.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. He only lived 3 miles away, but we set it up so with a little 10-watt transmitter on my side that he built. And that got me intrigued on how do you build them?
Yeah.
And to hide the fact that what it was, he put it in an old Magnavox radio chassis.
Yeah.
So I could have it on my dresser. And we practiced code back and forth at 3 watts.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my sort of first job was electronics and radio sort of technician. So it was electronics, radio, and telecoms. So I learned all about radio systems.
You ever work switch software?
Not on those. Those were, in fact, the first one I think I ever worked on was actually valve technology.
Oh,
this was back in the 80s, so it was old then.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, it was literally, I was doing that one year, and then the next year there was a newer model that was digital, basically. So it went from one extreme to the other. But there's I've worked with all sorts of things over the years, I suppose, with the electronics. But yeah, I started off as an electronics engineer, and then gradually sort of migrated onto the software, because it got to the point where rather than build things from scratch, I was getting a PC and sticking in some interface cards and writing the software to drive the interface cards to do what I wanted, because that was quicker and cheaper than building it from scratch. So I just got more into the software, and in the end I decided I was just going to go and get another job as a software engineer and ditch the electronics altogether. I found out the software paid better.
Yes. Well, evening, Hodge.
Hi, Hodge. Say hi to Harry. Hope you have a great evening with Sweaty.
Hello, Robert.
Bob, I watched him today. That I like your format. I really do. I hadn't seen anyone use a stuffed toy in wood turning. But I think, if I think about it, and I think that that's an alter ego talking. It reminds me of Mary Chase's book and then the play Harvey, because it's very similar, and I really interesting format.
Yeah, but if it's his alter ego, also he can say whatever he like on that character.
Right.
Hey, did somebody got an echo? Somebody got something else turned on.
Yeah, I noticed.
Paul, you got YouTube playing in the background, or
He's
Bob?
muted.
No,
Even-
I've
No,
mine
just
muted.
this actually, but I'll mute mine, see if it goes.
No, I still. Yeah, it's gone, but it's not from you.
All right.
It must have been you, monkey butt.
We'll just blame Eva, all right?
I'll check, but I think I done
Oh yeah.
paused it or muted it. Yeah, my video's muted on the other side.
Yeah, I continue to play even, but I'm here talking to you guys, but I'm still playing games here.
That's all right. We always do something besides just sit here and watch Jay.
Good use of the time there.
Because like Dr. Bob says, we're here is like being in his shop and having conversations together.
Yep, just you imagine all of us piling in your shop someday, Paul?
Pardon?
If we all piled in your shop talking, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Except you wouldn't have to foot over the beer and drinks. It's cheaper this way.
Yeah.
We bring our own.
One of these days I might pop up in my workshop. You never know. I don't usually go in there at this time of day, but I might just set the cameras up.
You don't have them up all the time from what you do?
No, I move them out of the way when I'm not using them usually, or at least some of it. So it just needs a little bit of setting up. I've got a couple of the cameras I use, I've got them on a microphone stand. So it's just a tripod stand on the floor basically, but I might upgrade those to some ones I can screw to the wall, and then they may well become permanent.
Uh-huh. Well, Minnie wants a time check. Here in the east coast of the states,
I got
Eastern Standard Time, it's
9:50.
3:50 a.m. here.
Central U.S. is 9:50.
Yeah, and here
It's 20 past 2.
Yeah, go Jay.
It's 20 past 2 in the afternoon here.
And I'm the furthest east, I guess, except for the Australian guys. So 4:52 here.
Yeah, I'm an hour behind you, Eva.
Yeah.
That is something that prior to lockdown, COVID, people have, at least the shrinks at our VA, our Veterans Administration, they're always trying to help with the mental well-being of vets.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have an equivalent in Britain, but I know Canada does. And it's really interesting because now they're going more electronic. Instead of me having to go twice a month in for tests, they sent me a whole box of goodies.
Yeah.
I can do my own blood pressure every morning.
Mhm.
I have
But that's good.
watch. that
That's
talks
good.
to the computer.
Yeah.
You know, it's a software package, even on the tablet. It keeps track of the oxygen level and how many hours of sleep and how much I walk for exercise. It's a tattletale.
Yeah.
But I've got a sphygmomanometer and I'm diabetic, and the glucometer, it loads into that app and all that. And I got a scale, and it's Bluetooth. All this stuff is Bluetooth. And
Yeah.
it just talks to the app and it dumps it automatically every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in there. So they have all this records on the chart. And if I'm screwing up on something, they call and ask what's going on, but they do it as a video chat.
They send the boys around to put you back in on the straight and narrow, do they?
Yeah. But I think they haven't had that kind of care, but now they're forced to have it.
Yeah.
For those that are, on the high risk side, because I suffer from Agent Orange poisoning severely. The skin on
Well,
my
they also
legs
do.
is wearing out. If I scrape my legs, I got to wear big heavy socks so as I don't scrape it, because I could bleed to death through the skin because it's so thin.
Yeah.
From the poisoning.
Right.
That's not nice.
No.
Yeah.
But that's what Agent Orange did. That's not what it was tested for. That's not what, and we still use something like it. It's used to cause trees to shed their leaves. It's for forest fire fighting, preventive.
Yeah.
Are you a tree, Dr. Bob?
The trees to lose their leaves, it was easier to see the Viet Cong to shoot them in the dense jungle. And it worked quick. It worked within an hour or two.
Hmm.
And it didn't hurt the trees. The leaves had come back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the best thing, I've done wood turning for years and years, and I stopped for a while after Nam. But I'll tell you, I went back to it because I could take my anger out on a piece of wood instead of a girlfriend, because I lost too many girlfriends.
Yeah.
Just with anger problems. Now I can take it out on a piece of wood, and it works. And I pass that out to a lot of vets. And it's not just vets. There are other people who have the same type of problems.
Yeah.
And wood turning, it's better than flat work because you see the shavings fly.
Yeah.
And you think that that's the problem's going away.
Gratification,
It works.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's destructive and we don't want to think of it that way. We think that it's creative.
You mean you're just deceiving yourself?
Yes. But it works because you can see it. You can stand in it. You got to shovel it up and put it in the flower bed or something.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you get
that's right.
laughing at it, and then you find you've made something and you keep making more and more. I've probably taught over 200 vets to get out there and work, even ones that only had one hand. And we had to have a tool, special bracket made to hold the tool, where their arm become the handle. We got in trouble for it, but we did it, and they loved it, and it worked. We didn't break any arms.
Yep.
We just put a very stiff spring on the end of the tool socket where you could plug it in, and if you got a catch, it would simply spring the tool out of the way before it would rip the arm off. I don't know. If you can do code work, you'll make better money doing work in computers than you do carpentry today. But carpentry's nice, so you can make a lot of stuff for around the house.
There's a lot of stuff you can make if you just wanna
Yeah. Or
and have a
fix.
little bit tool knowledge.
I get called often.
I was going to
even
say, I
today.
hasn't been on my scroll saw in a while, but
I almost said something nasty now.
Oh. But there's a lot of work. There's different types of woodworking, and people don't think of that. You have
Yeah, it is.
this work that you do around the house, setting doors, doing window frames and window jambs, how to level stuff for in a building, or fix pieces of furniture. That's all necessary. You don't want to hire a carpenter to hang a mirror.
No, who does that?
I've known people to do it because in one case down the street from me, about 3 houses, they knew it all. They hung this big mirror in the living room, but they didn't put anything in the wood. It just went into the sheetrock.
Yeah.
And as the house dried out for the winter, because you got the furnace on and the humidity's not in the house, someone slammed the door and this big 3-foot by 3-foot mirror just came right down and broke.
So it became 7 years of misfortune then.
The husband got in big trouble because it also took out a family heirloom lamp and cut a piece of furniture on the way down. Oh yeah, but he knew how to do it. You just screw it to the wall. Yeah, sure.
But why do you make such a big, a big mirror? That must have been a really big mirror.
Yeah, it was. It was the centerpiece behind a phony fireplace, and it had to go above it, and that's what they always wanted. And they bought this fireplace kit. That was
Yeah,
nice
you really need to find the bearing pieces in the wall to hang something like that.
Yep, either that or the right fastener. I mean, I went back and put it in, but when they got the new one, and there are the right type of fasteners. You got a fastener that goes in the hole and then springs open behind it. And
there's different types. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would hold the mirror up. They just screwed it into sheetrock. How it ever held itself above it, I don't know. I'll tell you, for young people, they can make good money turning pens. We've got a young man in our club that's now, I think, 15. Yeah, he's been turning Harry Potter wands for 3 years.
Yeah.
And he's making really good money that makes other of our members jealous, seriously jealous. He did
But that's good.
3 of them, and he got $2,600 for them, and they were used in a stage play. That's not bad for a teenager. And
It's not.
I think he said it was less than a day a piece, and that was waiting for the finish and that. And then they had to have more, and they wanted to sell them in the lobby. So he was turning them out right and left, and he figured he was making $16 an hour. and enjoying it, just turning pens on his mini lathe, and he made enough to buy a bigger lathe.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way you have to do it sometimes.
Yep. But he's our youngest member, and he's demoed to the club 2 or 3 times because they're just amazed that we got this kid that makes that kind of money. Where some people really work hard to get $50 out of a bowl or 70. He's getting it for a stick of wood. There's some pyrography in them, and he's drilled and put mini lights in some that has the button that's covered up, so when you look at it as a prop, it just looks like something there, that a bump in the wood, but the end of the wand lights up. Very creative.
And that's probably why he sells them, because he's so creative.
Yes.
It's usually as soon as you can get a little bit different than the rest of them, then you're suddenly have something that's different and then
Oh, yeah.
people might want to buy
He's
it.
gone into a lot of finishing that's different. He uses pyrography. He uses a blowtorch to charcoal the wood or burn it in and look as if the wand has cast a real bad spell and it has cooked the end of the wand, and you can actually smell the fact that the wood has been burnt.
Yeah, but
He uses jeweler's files to do carving on some. He'll sit and watch TV while he does that.
that's great.
Well, I forget, what is it? The movie studio that did Potter has a theme park in Florida. I don't remember which it is. But he
Universal
has a
Studios.
standing order to make them there because everyone's different. And there are like 9 classes of wands that are talked about in the movie series, and he makes 9 different wand styles that'll match in the movies, but they're different. There's no 2 identical models, as if it was CNC, so he does them that way. He's going to work his way through college. Or at
Yeah,
least
but and he have great fun, I suppose, when he do them also.
Oh, yes.
I need to
He's
go and
been
refill my drink now, so I'll be right back.
okay.
Okay.
The only thing he had trouble handling is being interviewed on national TV at 15 years old about his wands that are being sold by a major movie company.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem popular these days, don't they, these ones?
Well, a lot of the kids are wanting get board games now that are tied around that, the whole genre. And they got to have their own special wand to cast the spells that go with the board games. And with the board games can come the wands, but they're ridiculous in cost compared to what he does. So he turns quite a few of them out.
Yeah.
Well, you got the rugby score there, I see, Paul.
Yeah. I don't usually watch rugby. Never really interested me.
What was your sport?
Oh, fishing and surfing, I think.
Surfing.
Yeah, I used to go surfing. I used to live near the sea. I don't anymore, but yeah, when I lived near the sea, I used to like surfing and a bit of sailing.
Yeah, I had a catamaran for years, a Hobie cat. I love that thing.
Mm.
It was a chick magnet. That's at least the
Yeah.
phrase that we used when I was young.
Uh-huh.
I'm back.
Yeah, I've got a little boat, just a 17-foot motorboat that I use for fishing. It's not been anywhere for quite some time though, but that's when we get back to normal. I can take it out.
But that's nice.
Yeah.
I love fishing.
Yeah, me too.
One thing in Michigan, we have more lakes and fishing streams than almost anywhere per square mile.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we're a peninsula surrounded by water. And that is one of the biggest hobbies is fishing in the state during the summer. And, of course, hunting because we've got all the forests.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm 20 minutes from the Detroit River.
Yeah.
You know, and it's getting better. It used to be full of garbage, but it's been cleaned out because Canada's forced it.
Yeah.
But how is it with
And a
the
mile across from each other here. So,
Bob?
Yeah.
Do you have to pay fee then for every lake you come to, or can you be a member in something then have a few lakes and you can, or how does it work?
Well, here in Michigan, if I forget what the age is, but it's free anywhere in the state on state property or state, county, whatever.
Yeah, that's nice.
You just get a state fishing license. And if
Yeah.
you're young, it's fishing free. Now, if you're from out of town, you can get a limited fishing license for whatever you want. Now, when you're on the Great Lakes, that fishing license, if you're a Michigander, meaning you live here and you have for a while, your fishing license, they don't track what side the river or the lake you fish on because it's hard to keep track of if you're in the US or Canadian water. So it's kind of, the water is there. You can be within a few feet of the Canadian shore, but you can't step on it because you're in another country without going through, immigration, customs and all. But the fishing is across the lake, anyone can fish, and we have great, great deep water fishing.
So they didn't put up a wall there then?
No, there's no wall.
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, it's there are places where you can walk back and forth between the countries, and no one. Prior to our last president, no one cared, and now it's getting back to normal. We don't want to build a wall between us and Canada, or a fence. And in fact, the border, we've got cities that the libraries are half in Canada and half in the US. Because the original markers that were put down, they used to use transit to do it. And before that, just older equipment in order to shoot our northern border between US and Canada. And it was the markers that were put in and way back then are so far off, but everyone's followed them. There are farms along our northern border where half the field that your property is in Canada, and the same thing there, vice versa. And
That's
you
what
go
we
to the
have
border and you
Norway.
simply say hi to the border patrol and go. Kids go to school back from because there's schools in Canada and no school close enough because you're a farm boy or girl. So you go to the Canadian one instead of riding on a bus for 2 hours to an American one. It's just been that we're one happy family. It's been that way for a long, long time.
Yeah, it sounds like what we have with Norway, because we have a long, long border with Norway, and there's no fence, no nothing. If you want to smuggle, there's enough of small roads you can take, and there's no toll service or patrols or anything around there.
Yeah, that's the way it used to be, but not for the last 4 years.
Well, there was a guy, he
That's
wanted to put fences
That's
everywhere.
going to change.
He wanted to change that too.
Oh, he did. I mean, we had tariffs on wood. I used to, during the winter months, I would use Western red cedar and made kayak paddles for a good friend of mine that made kayaks. And in the summer, he did other boats he made, and he used to do a lot of repair work on some of the big wooden ones. And I would help him make some of that wood up to do the work that was needed. And now these are big sailboats, that because with the lake, you can get some really nice sailboats, some 65 footers out there. So I've done a lot of that for them. But this last 4 years with the tariff on wood, it was like $3.80 tariff on a stick of wood that we'd have to make a paddle out of the cedar. And that made it not very competitive, or hardly. They still made money, but people weren't kayaking with COVID. You can still get out in the summer and go on boats and stuff, because you're all by yourself in the middle of nowhere. But that business for the last 4 years is just non-existent. I'm looking forward to it.
I think you can actually see what I'm doing right now, can you?
No.
I'm trying to
Well, you
share
got-
my screen.
Oh yeah, got it there.
Oh, the game, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you should see what I'm doing at least.
It's complicated.
It's not so complicated. You run around and do quests, that's all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks too hard. Too many boxes, too many options.
What? You like my bags? I love my bags. I have a lot of space.
I look at that and I cringe at the coding that has to go into that.
Yeah, but now you see what I'm doing meanwhile I'm talking to you guys.
Yep. Yeah, the new version of StreamYard that just came out allowed this and other stuff to happen, because now you can actually play anything from your computer on a screen in StreamYard. And anybody has that right and ability, if you want, to share your screen, including videos. Which its competitor out there that's big, high price, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And StreamYard, it's really inexpensive, and of course they just got bought out because of their software. And a company that bought them does corporate streaming and meeting software, but it's an interesting option and buyout, because this is all server based. No one has to have a powerful computer at all to run StreamYard, either to host or not, because it's all done in the cloud.
I have this pet to do the hard work for me. So he keeps the monsters away from me. I just tamed the slug.
Are you a gamer, Paul?
Not a great deal, no. Occasionally. But yeah, but not a lot, I suppose.
I think it's funny. No, there's two monsters here, so I need to trap one. And there was another player.
What's the name
Whoever
of the game?
said woodworking is not a problem-solving job is not thinking.
This is World of Warcraft. Maybe I shouldn't say it because then it's good.
No, my sister plays that, and it's an every night affair. It's addictive as drugs.
It can be, yeah. You have to do it with moderation.
She's a nightly affair, 5 nights a week, and she has 2 different groups that play, and they know each other, and they sit back and chat the same way we do, talking woodworking.
Yeah,
people video to it.
People don't think that it's so social. Play computer games is nothing social about it, but usually you sit and talk to friends, and you have, like, I can bring up friends list like that, and
yeah, and now there's video being integrated into some of them, and if not, you can do StreamYard and bring the people up to it. Just
that's what I used to people do on Twitch.
Yeah.
That's a huge. Is that the mount? I want it.
Sounds addicting. I'm just amazed at the software and that they have and they support this.
But
and
I'm spoiled
global.
now.
They make a fortune every time it's played.
I have the best graphic card at the moment that you can have to play this game.
Yeah, that helps.
It helps a lot.
Upload the animation now to graphics.
Everything is ultra.
Yeah.
Yep, everything is ultra, so I can really enjoy the full scale of it.
Never sees any of the work. It's all done into the graphic card.
But they reuse a lot of old worlds into the game. They just change the flowering or something like that a little bit, but otherwise they use a lot of the same kind of environmental stuff. Here they use something that I recollect from earlier seasons.
Yeah, the graphics.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it's being used to train military too. This type of gaming, but there it's real world. It's with what looks like real people, and it's very interesting. I was watching the demo of one that when I was in pre-COVID at the Veterans Hospital, and they were talking about it and showing some of the stuff on the TVs.
Yeah, I have played a few of those where you drop on a parachute and then you have to find stuff, weapon, healthcare, and all of that. And sorry, I got a bit of a cough.
That's look good, Jay. What'd you get using as a finish on it?
This.
Oh, just the good old Rust-Oleum.
Rust-Oleum clear coat.
Oh, you're coloring it also right now, aren't you?
Yeah, he did.
That's what I was doing. for the people that were paying attention and not playing
the
a game.
magic markers.
Yeah, I even came back to look at your piece now.
And I did use a texture tool too. This one.
Yeah, you just got that too.
I've had it for 6 or 7 months or something.
Oh, I thought you'd just gotten it. I haven't seen you use it much. And I hear people say you can't use magic markers for decorations. And they have to buy the expensive paints to do it,
Bullocks.
paint sticks.
Yeah. There's a sucker born every minute, Dr. Bob, unfortunately.
You can use whatever you like.
Yep. It's like Paul's frozen.
Was it?
No, he's just good at. He's good
Eyes
at
moving.
Magic markers.
And you
Sharpies.
spin that fast enough, somebody's going to be hypnotized.
So,
That was.
I polished another turd.
But you were hypnotizing us yesterday, Jay, weren't you? That was Robo said.
Sorry?
Robo said you were hypnotizing us yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that was Dr. Bob said that to this piece here.
Let me have a look.
Yes, it was turning.
Yeah, that turned out quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
It's like a vase.
I couldn't get down to the bottom there, but oh well. Shit happens, don't it?
Yeah, you
Well,
need
if
some
you're
longer
gonna put-
tools.
I was
If you're putting flowers in it, you need the heavier base so it won't fall over.
yeah, it's about that thick. And I left that on there because I'm waiting for the glue to dry in there because of those cracks went right through the bottom there. So I just thought I'd better play it safe and let them cure properly before I nip that off. But yeah, that's pretty much me done for the day, I think. Something simple and
That is
Is it-
nice.
kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I need to go to a safe spot here.
That would be
What?
very hypnotizing.
Right. I'll put the camera right in front of the chucker, right? Now give me your bank details and your Wi-Fi password.
Oh, you don't. I got so much mail about how much money people want to give me if I just log in and give them my details.
You don't know how many Russian lotteries I've won, Eva. You'd be amazed.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Make me think of Hodge Harris beaver meeting he had there with his sweaty. We come to the conclusion that she's Russian, but she lives in Sweden. The beaver that's visiting Harry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Russian bride.
Yeah, Russian mail order.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then I jumped the conclusion and said automatically, oh, she's a gold digger. But that is, of
They all
course,
are.
is not true. Well, it's not true. Not all of them, but they seek a better future. Hey, don't walk on my keyboard. That's absolutely strictly forbidden.
To be honest, if she's with Robert, she'd be better off being a wood digger, really, wouldn't she? Not a gold digger.
Oh,
He's
but
a
she's a beaver, so she's already a wood digger.
She's already wood carver.
Well, thanks, Paul, for showing up tonight.
No problems.
Yeah,
It's nice to have people here from all around the world. Yeah. Jay, did you ever think you'd have followers from 3 different continents
No,
besides your own?
no. Nope. Did not at all. Now I can see. Look at that.
Oh, amazing.
Wow.
Just like me, without my glasses, everything is blurry.
Well, I hate the fact that needed to start with glasses to be able to read stuff. That was a sad moment when I realized that.
No, I've had them since 2 years old. So
It's a
I'm
part of
used to
you,
them.
kind of. Yeah.
Yep, it has been.
I'm not used to glasses, so they end up all over the place, and I never know where I put them. And then all of a sudden I have 7 pairs, or all of a sudden I have 0 pairs. So
It's like a pencil.
yeah,
Glad I'm
it
not
goes
the only-
everywhere.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, Eva.
No, you're welcome, Jay.
Well, I
Free
have
of charge.
3. I have 3 pair, and one is for reading, where something's got to be real close. And I've had them set up so as they're not a bifocal, because they normally give me bifocals, because I want something when I'm doing pyrography or carving or something on the lathe that's close. So then I've got reading glasses and then normal bifocals for outside and driving and that.
Yeah.
I just hate the fact that when I get super glue spilled on them, it's hard to explain.
Did you know that you actually
can't
have?
use the solvent because it'll dissolve the plastic lenses.
Jay, did you know that Australia actually have skiing people that's here competing? Cross country
yeah.
skiing.
Not in South Australia though. I think that's in Victoria. It's where they have most of the snowfields.
Well, they are apparently in Europe right now and do ski competition.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Unless
it's
they-
almost midnight, and I'm sure a few people ought to get to bed because it's getting late, or early in the morning.
Well, yeah, it's soon time to take the antibiotics again.
Has the sun come up yet, Paul?
No, it's still pitch black out there.
Yep, it's been very sunny yesterday though.
But yeah, it's just 12:30 here, at 12:30 or 11:39, almost tomorrow.
Yeah, we light about 7:30.
But you can have a sleep in tomorrow, Bob.
I got a dog that gets me up because it's got to go outside, and if I don't, I got a mess to clean up.
Oh, the kids can do that.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, I am.
They can. I mean, the word is could.
Yeah. They've probably been up half the night playing games, I guess.
Amen.
Yeah, that's what we gamers do.
And
All right, I'm
I,
going to knock it on the head, folks. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bailey, Mini Maker, Hodge,
See
whoever's
you
left
down
there.
there, Sard, wherever you are down there somewhere.
Bye-bye.
goodbye.
That's
See
you.
ya.
Loco didn't show up, but that's fine. Not that he's not missed. We got to see some of the wood that he cut tomorrow.
Mm.
He won't bring it home. I'm telling you right now, he will not bring it home.
Oh, Robo's getting the wood right now. Hey, stop fighting. Edge.
All right. I'm ending
All
it
right.
now.
Good morning, good night, and see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, good night.